Alaska Senate candidate endorsed by Donald J. Trump, Kelly Tshibaka. Hello, nice to see you again, lady. You're running against left-wing Senator Lisa Murkowski, who has spent nearly 2 decades supporting reckless government spending. Now this menace is impacting my state of Texas and every other state out there as the 4th largest earmarker in Congress. Check this out. $10 million to tear down the abandoned Polaris Hotel, $350,000 to provide funds to rehabilitate sites listed on the National Register for Historic Places, $750,000 for invasive species early detection rapid response team, all paid for by taxpayers in other states. Now, if you're elected, if you beat this woman, how will you handle the underhanded practice of earmarking if you get to the Senate?
So we are absolute fiscal conservatives in Alaska, and we know that earmarks have been prohibited in the Senate for a long time. Murkowski just got some earmarks in this last overnight appropriation bill that also wiped out Second Amendment protections, and she's going around town bragging about them. I was just on a radio show this morning here in Alaska where they said, so she's boasting about these earmarks, but at what cost? Because it's the inflation expenses, the burden on our children and grandchildren. We're not at all ignorant about the cost that it comes to Alaskans and Americans when people like Murkowski, who pretend to be fiscal conservatives, actually burden the future generations with the cost of this pork spending. And really what it is it's buying votes. I was just out in Kotzebue, which is one of our rural communities that desperately needs infrastructure spending, talking to some Democrats, common sense Democrats. I asked them what they think about this earmark spending. They will get tens of millions of dollars from what Murkowski just brought home. They said it's sure nice to get this money. We wish our senator would have been working for us the last 20 years instead of the last 6 months that she's facing a strong challenger. That's exactly what we think about earmarks. There's lots of ways to serve Alaska. It's not just when you're facing a challenger and you need to buy votes.
Yeah, you know what? And I got to say, as a Texan, and I'm sure the other 49 states agree with me, I resent the hell out of Lisa Murkowski. Senator Murkowski also showed she has the same values as Justice KBJ because she voted to confirm her. That means Murkowski supports going soft on child predators. She supports a woman who can't define what a woman is. And she supports putting people on the bench who use activist language in justifying their rulings, not legal language. Isn't it fair to say that Murkowski is as qualified to be a senator as KBJ is qualified to sit on the high court, which is to say not qualified at all?
Chris, you're right. These are not the values of Alaskans at all. In fact, Senator Murkowski acts as Biden's CEO. She is his chief enabling officer. She has voted to confirm over 90% of his radical nominees, at times even saying, I know this will hurt Alaska. I have misgivings. I'm going to do it anyway. Sometimes she is the tie-breaking vote. This has happened multiple times. And in this case, as in others, she's often one of the only Republicans who will cross sides, saving Kamala the trip down Pennsylvania Avenue to bail out the Democrats. We know that she opposed constitutionalist Justice Brett Kavanaugh and sided with the Democrats in trying to filibuster Amy Coney Barrett. Time and time again, this does not represent the values of us Alaskans. In fact, it will hurt us Alaskans. In the case of this radical nominee, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, we have some of the highest domestic abuse, sexual assault, and child sex abuse rates in the nation. There will not be justice for children with Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson on the Supreme Court.
It just defies logic, in my view. I wonder if Senator Murkowski has even read the Republican planks and what the Republican platform says. Biden's agenda, you mentioned that, has raised inflation to a 40-year high, impacting every American. Now he wants to raise taxes to pay for all of this massive spending. Knowing Murkowski's penchant for siding with left-wing extremists, like you just articulated, if she remains in the Senate, do you think she's going to be a rubber stamp for Biden's destructive economic agenda?
Oh, absolutely. Not just a rubber stamp. She'll champion it, just like she's helped to champion him so far. She's moved so far left that she is voting a majority of the time with Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders. This is not the Lisa Murkowski of 6 years ago when she was more moderate. In fact, she is taking substantial campaign contributions from big tech, radical left organizations, and leftist environmentalist groups. All of these people have interests contrary to those of us here in Alaska. She's doing everything she can to push Biden's radical, energy annihilating agenda. It's killed thousands of jobs across our state. That's in fact why I got into this race. My family was once homeless. This is when my parents moved up here before I was born. My mom got an oil job, and that's how they fought their way into working class Alaska. When she cast the tie-breaking vote for Deb Haaland, a radical environmentalist, that killed thousands of jobs across our state, just like the one my mom had. She doesn't care how it affects us Alaskans, and that's why I jumped in this race, to help block that Biden agenda and help block Lisa Murkowski from hurting our jobs, our economy, our workers, and fundamentally our environment.
Ms. Tshibaka, I've got one question, and I've only got about 15 seconds to have you answer it. Who do you think was in the bunny suit?
Oh, I have no idea, but that's the person controlling Joe Biden. You all can help me out at kelly4ak.com. I'd love to see you again, Chris. Thanks for your help.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate the time, and good luck in your race. We certainly, the rest of the taxpayers around the country certainly need you in that seat.